Hello and welcome to my channel. Today I'll be showing you how to make bass music in the style of Anunaku, inspired by his tracks Forgotten Tales and Wheele with DJ Plead. The project file, samples and presets are available for a small contribution in the description. As a thank you for reaching 3,000 subscribers, I've collated all the Serum presets from my Serum tutorials playlist into a free pack on my Bandcamp. Massive thanks to all my subscribers, and the link is in the description. If you're not subscribed, now is a great time to do so, and feel free to like the video if you find it useful. I was aiming to do a hybrid TSVI and Anunaku video as they're the same person, but during the production process, the project ended up being closer to Anunaku, and I didn't want to force it in a more TSVI direction for the sake of it. I may make a dedicated TSVI video in future, but many of the elements in this video will be relevant to TSVI too. Our BPM is 126 and our key is a Phrygian. Forgotten Tales is in C major, but I found it difficult to write a non-cheesy melody in a major key, so I went for a darker Phrygian feel like Wheele. First we have the taiko. There's no dedicated kick drum per se. We instead have a taiko, breakbeat kick, and an 808. There's an EQ on the taiko channel, attenuating the lows. Reverb is applied via send A, which is this edited empty club preset. Then we have the snare. The MIDI has this Congas 1 groove applied, and the groove is also applied to the MIDI in the African drums group and the high drums group. On the snare channel, we have a saturator to make the snare more aggressive. And an EQ plus reverb via send A. Then we have the African drums group. We have the Discovery Series West African drums in Kontakt. I spent some time tweaking the knobs and muted some of the other drums in the kit so the drum arrangement wasn't too busy. Technically, all of these MIDI notes play short phrases, although because some of the notes are so short, they're effectively one-shots. I'd recommend using these types of phrases or pre-recorded loops when creating drums for this style, as one-shots often don't sound natural enough on their own. I've also got this fill at the end of bar 8. I have some bongo one-shots in this drum rack. I've used the choke group so that when one cell plays, it mutes the others, and a few of them have been pans, which we can see here. I tuned the bongo hits before bringing them into the project. I'd emphasize the importance of tuning tone and percussion, especially if you're using multiple different samples from different sources, as it can help the percussion feel consistent, and this applies to the loops as well. There's an EQ on the channel, and this is the MIDI. If I solo the group, you can hear that the drums have a call and response relationship. This wasn't something I specifically heard in an Anunaku track, but it worked for this project. On the group, there's drum bus with heavy drive because the drums in Wheel are very saturated, a channel EQ to boost the highs, and another EQ to remove low frequencies, plus bass monoing below 500 Hertz. Reverb is applied via A. Next, we have the breakbeats, which are inspired by Wheel. I've reused an edited aim break from my Pearson Sound video and resequenced it using only the kick. I also have the Apache break. I previously chopped Apache into short phrases and one-shots as there's a lot of percussion in this project, and I've used the clip gain to mute another phrase. Both the breakbeats have this congas 1-1 groove applied to them with the quantization value at 100, meaning that live snaps the transients to the grid before quantizing them to the groove. Like the West African Kontakt samples, the breaks help create a live human feel. You could replace the breaks with other bongo or djembe loops if you wanted to go more in a TSVI type direction, although the Apache break has some of that type of percussion in it anyway. On the group, we have drum bus and EQ with reverb applied via Sende. We have the high drums. I approached hi-hat programming similarly to in my Pearson Sound video. In this case, the hat is playing 16th notes and the shaker accents certain notes to help create the groove. The hat and the shaker have been panned to opposite sides. On the group, we have erosion to make the hats noisier. Then there's drum bus, EQ, and reverb is applied again via A. There's the 808. We have a sine wave taken down by 2 octaves. The voicing is mono legato with glides on always. All of this means that if the MIDI notes overlap, as they do in the pattern, the bass will glide to the next note. The amp envelope decays slowly, and LFO1 is on envelope mode and is modulating the master tuning. We have drive on a low pass filter and distortion in the effects. On the channel, we have an EQ with reverb applied via A. These are the effects. starting with the noise riser. We have a bright white noise with its level being modulated by LFO1 with a rate of 1/32. There's a low pass filter with its cutoff being modulated by LFO2 with a rate of 4 bars. And there's drive on the filter as well. In the effects, we have hyperdimension and distortion. On the channel, we have erosion to add grip. Then we have the reload or spin back sample. And finally, this reversed chime riser with its pitch increased over time. There's an EQ on the chime channel to remove harshness. The effects group has drum bus, EQ, and an echo. Reverb, again, is applied via A. Then we have the lead in the melodic group. Although the scale we're in resembles wheel, the ascending and descending nature of the notes is something we see in Forgotten Tales. Like most of the drums, the lead has the congas 1 groove applied to humanize it. On the channel, we have drum bus, EQ, and chorus. We have the rave pads. The sound is based on the classic Hoover, similar to the one I made in my special request tutorial. We have a saw wave taken down by an octave with the unison at 7 and another saw wave with the unison at 16. The sub oscillator is a triangle wave taken down by an octave, and we have bright white noise in the sample player. If we look in the matrix, we can see that LFO1 is modulating the master tuning, and this means that the note rises into pitch at the beginning of each MIDI note. LFO2 is modulating the cutoff of a low pass filter. The filter also has some drive and resonance. Both LFOs are on envelope mode. We have distortion in the effects and an EQ on the channel, cutting lows. On the group, we have bass mono to 500 Hz and echo, as well as reverb applied via A. Finally, we have the vocals, which are this Hey one shot and a Raz Kitchen sample. And I'll link the Raz Kitchen sample pack again, which is for free, in the description.
This thing going on from creation.
For the Hey vocal, we have a saturator. As I noticed, some of the vocals in Wheel were very saturated. EQ, low pass filter to make the vocal sound a bit more distant, and an echo. And for the Raz vocal, the signal chain is very similar, but we've got some slightly different settings, particularly when it comes to the echo. Reverb is applied on the group via Send A. So that's the video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you soon.